of the Romeo Planning Commission for April 4, 2024. We begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. Everyone. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, Cindy, we move on to the roll call now.
Stegner,
Here.
Fowler,
Here.
Grandstaff,
Here.
Hale is excused, Hall is excused, Minton,
Here.
Justin Parker,
Present.
Webb,
Here.
Okay, now we move on.
Cindy, I'm here too.
oh yeah, Bill, Bill,
Go ahead, what's his name? Yeah, I'm here.
Bill Parker. Sorry, Bill.
Okay. All right, item number 3, approval of tonight's agenda. Does anybody have anything to add?
Yeah, I'd make a motion to approve, if we could, possibly, could we move new business 1 and 2 to ahead of unfinished business, so that the representative could discuss anything that needs to be discussed before we move on, and he doesn't have to stay for the rest of our conversation? Support.
Okay, the motion before us is to move item number 1 and 2 under new business ahead of unfinished business 1, 2, and 3. All in favor of that? Aye, okay. Motion passes. Okay, so we approve the agenda. Number 4, approval of the meeting minutes from March 7.
Mr. Webb.
So moved.
I'll second that. All in favor? Aye. Okay. And public forum, ain't nobody here. So
Wait a minute, Andrew counts.
we move on to new business. Item 1, Ms. LeVar.
Just before we start, I will abstain from discussion and voting on this topic.
And that's because you have a
The
conflict?
conflict of interest, the building owner has suggested that she would like me to do the work for this project.
Okay.
So the site plan before us today is for 155 Rawls, which is located in the CBD district. The applicant has submitted plans to build 2 additions to the existing building for Nakash Dental. Buildings that are structurally altered are required to come before Planning Commission for site plan approval. One addition will be located on the east side of the building, and the other addition will be located on the west side of the building. The addition on the east side of the building is approximately 234 square feet, and the west side addition is approximately 126 square feet. The height of the existing building is 29 feet, and the proposed additions will match. The facade of the additions will be a combination of vinyl siding and masonry to match the existing building and include several windows. For general office uses, for parking, 1 space is required for every 300 square feet of gross floor area, with the understanding that only 25% of this requirement must be provided. The remainder of required parking shall be provided in an employee parking lot, may be in an employee parking lot off-site. With the addition, the gross floor area of the building is 5,414, requiring 19 spaces total. The application states that there were 22 spaces provided, with 13 displayed on the plan. The applicant should just confirm where the remaining spaces are located. I recommend approval of the above site plan for the proposed building additions upon confirming compliance with the parking requirements of the CBD district.
Any comments?
Where are the parking spots, Andy?
They're on the other side, they're not going in there, there's another 7. It's like, there's 2 parking.
Adjacent from the ones that are
Yeah,
truck.
adjacent. And we're not messing with the sidewalk, we're keeping the 5-foot sidewalk in front of them, and actually putting the full length. They're just not drawing.
Just across from the existing lot there.
Yeah, because we got 6 of them marked, but there's actually another 7 on the other side of the parking lot. That exists already.
So you said
private lots and
6
downtown
were
Romeo.
marked right now, but
Yeah,
7
six,
are
and then there's
exist,
seven
7 more,
individual
okay,
lines of
all right.
restrictions, which are
Okay.
And then she's also got another spot that we added, which is not easy as well. because
Anybody want to make a motion to approve, or?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Okay, Mr. Mitten, I second the motion, so we have before us a motion to approve the site plan at 155 Rawls.
You seconded that?
Aye.
You did, Mitten? Okay.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, I believe it's unanimous, so that passes. So,
Thank you.
site plan review for 155 Rawls Street, parcel 280402130006, Nakash Dental.
Yep, that's the one that was just,
Did you just, did,
Oh, that's it?
yeah.
Good,
There's
okay.
two 155s, so
Why is
it's
it two?
confusing.
Yeah,
well, one was,
Because the fire station's actually 155 also.
There are two.
And we even got, I mean, the site, just get confusing.
she
The
worked
same
on
one,
it.
the first one, Chairman, was the review by Karen.
Yeah, okay, I got it.
And
I
it was
read
just
these
a
things when I
wrong-
get here.
It was marked, just, I don't know, it's weird that there's two 155s up, or left.
Right.
Okay.
I didn't know that,
passes.
that's interesting.
All right, let's move back to, so you're approved, so.
I'm all set.
You're good.
Thank you so much. See you guys soon.
So
Thanks,
we
Andy.
return now to unfinished business, off-street parking update. Once again, Karen.
So based on our discussion, I've updated the language regarding where people can park their recreational vehicles. And there, unfortunately, I do have to make an edit. The last sentence, it should be blocking and conflicting, but the new language would read, for the last paragraph, no motor vehicle shall be kept or stored in any residential district unless it shall be in operating condition and properly licensed or located inside a building. Outdoor storage of recreational vehicles is allowed behind the principal building or in a driveway parked at least 3 feet from the road, not blocking the sidewalk and not conflicting with corner clearance. So we've removed general motor vehicles. We're just discussing the placement of recreational vehicles. And if something, regardless, if it's not in working condition or if it's not licensed, it does have to still be in an enclosed building. But if it's in working condition and it's licensed, you can park it in your driveway, just as long as you're not blocking the sidewalk or
So,
conflicting with corner
Correct me,
clearance.
when I read this, it can be behind the building, the principal building, and it doesn't, it can be just on the grass? Because then it says, or in a driveway.
I believe that was part of our discussion
Was it?
of where people were, you know, if they don't have a paved area in the back. So as long as it's behind the building, it could be on the grass. But if you are parking it where it's going to be in front of the home, then it has to be in your driveway.
Yeah. I mean, if they park it behind their house and it gets stuck back there, that's their problem.
Would you say that again, just because I'm old and slow?
Sure. Outdoor storage of recreational vehicles is allowed behind the principal building or in a driveway parked at least 3 feet from the road, not blocking the sidewalk and not conflicting with corner clearance.
There's probably several in the village where they have a parking pad for their vehicle for their motor home or whatever. It's certainly not a driveway, and it's, I'm thinking like the one on Bradley that the Graces used to live in. Well, they have a pad right beside the house, but it's not a driveway.
But is it,
It's behind
it's
the,
paved and it's 3 feet from the road, right?
Oh, Christ, yes, it's even with, it's not behind the house.
But
It's parallel to it?
But it's unpaved.
Yeah, and it's paved,
Yeah,
they'd be fine.
we're only talking about recreational vehicles at this point, so.
Yep.
Yeah.
Should I add in a driveway or parking pad? I don't know if I'd be, what separates this parking pad from a driveway? I'm just curious.
Is it attached to the drive?
No,
Or does it not extend to the
No.
roadway?
no.
Okay.
I'm just thinking about my neighbor who's, that parking pad is between the sidewalk and the street. It's been there since probably 1970, maybe 65. I mean, it's like always been there, period. I
And
guess
that's not true.
those type of things are just grandfathered in, period.
I don't think so. I think they'd have so much time to comply and then the new ordinance stands.
Well, it's like changing the electrical code. It's there, and what's there, you don't change it. You
Right.
don't, you make people go do new things, Justin. I guess it's a legal matter, but my understanding is that when you change the zoning ordinance, what's been grandfathered in is grandfathered in. Is that correct?
It depends what that is.
Well, in some place like this.
I would say something like this, where it's, it'd be one of those, situations where someone would have time to comply if they have a unique lot that would prohibit them from meeting this. They may have the opportunity to go before the ZBA asking for a variance, but of where they could
What
put
about the
this based on
Washington Street
dimensional.
houses where they'd have to park in their front yard? Period.
Green
There's no
space?
other option.
It's next door.
Cindy, do you know the history of when, I know this goes back to when Marion was the village clerk. At some point, they said there's no other choice except to park in the front yard.
I don't know for sure, Bill.
I
But
don't-
this is still only for
You've been around for
recreational
20 years,
vehicles.
but this is going back even before that.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some of these cases that have been there, and I guess my question is, they've been there so long, everybody in the village would certainly know that they're there. I mean, like the parking pad next to me, it's just always been there. So I assume those things are just grandfathered in, and I'm asking for some clarification on that.
I mean, I would have to see what differentiates this parking pad. From the parking pad, can you move out into the roadway from the parking pad?
No, it's not in the roadway, it's very clearly,
You gotta be able to get it from the parking pad to the street somehow.
Because I guess I'm trying to figure out, would someone say,
attached to
no,
the
this
roadway.
isn't a driveway,
Yeah,
it's a
that's what she
parking
asked.
pad?
no, there's a curb. It's,
There's not an approach.
no,
Oh,
there's an approach to the garage, but on either side of that approach, 50 years ago or more, because the woman was operating a beauty shop there, and everybody in town knew it, she provided additional parking. Well, you couldn't possibly not know it if you lived in the village. That's the reason it was there, and all the people since then have used it for vehicle storage. And the same would be true of the Washington Street houses. I could even testify as a little kid, yeah, it's always been like that.
I mean, we could add that wording, behind a principal building or on a parking, or parking pad or in a driveway. Because that sounds like there is a difference, or in a paved area,
I'm not trying to be difficult,
yeah.
See, that don't- to me,
I'm
gets
asking
into all
about,
that.
I'm asking about the things that are there. And to me, they would be grandfathered in as much as a a change in the building code, which happens regularly, or the electric code every couple, 3 years, Justin. They update it, but you don't go back and tell everybody in the village, okay, you're gonna have to meet it now.
You would if they didn't use it. If they weren't parked on that pad and then they moved off of it, if they went to
I
come back,
agree.
if they went to come back to it, then they would have to
I
comply.
agree with you, but it's just, I'm just saying, certainly the Washington Street houses, there's nowhere else for them to park,
Right.
period. I mean, we talk about this till we, until, listen, well, never mind. But in that pad, the 10 years that I've been living there, that guy's always parked his cars there and his trucks.
He can park his cars and trucks there. These are
As
just
long as they're
So
recreational.
it's
licensed and
just-
operating.
As long as they continue to do that, then it's there. And he does keep them,
Yeah.
he keeps them licensed and operating. He's kind of nuts about that, goes out and polishes them. I just,
So if we have a motorhome parked in a backyard that's sinking into the mud, is that considered operable? If you can't pull it out, drive it out? I guess,
Yeah, if it's plated, that's their problem to get it out.
but it's gotta be,
What do we care if it's in their backyard?
somebody has to make a complaint.
it's gotta be operable.
What do
If
we
you got a
care? What do we care
motorhome
if it's
sinking in the backyard.
though? It's no different than a place that's sinking in someone's backyard or a sandbox sinking. I mean, it's in their backyard at that point.
Oh, I don't know, I'd have an issue with that.
It's in their backyard. I mean, how far do we wanna reach into people's
How many
houses?
truck cars are around town right now? We aren't gonna talk about that.
Well, and how many have been cleaned out? Because,
True.
yeah, I mean, that's when we just become a junkyard and start paving our front yards and parking stuff in the front yard.
I have nothing else to say. Do you need a motion on this?
Do we have, so there's some language you're gonna change, or?
I can see if there's more encompassing language I can add to cover that.
I'm happy with it.
You're happy
Well,
with
right
it?
now,
You're
the
happy with-
parking pad is not a driveway, so it wouldn't be allowed.
No, it's grandfathered in.
It is, that's questionable, if it would be. I think if that goes in as written, they could change that.
Do you think you need to add a statement about?
I think I should, if that's something that is seen frequently, we can add a parking pad, because if the parking pad is functioning differently from your average driveway, then that should be addressed. Because if it's, let's say you don't have a driveway, but you have this parking pad that's parallel between your house and your fence or whatever, and you put your travel trailer there, it's not, well, it may or may not be behind your principal building, or it would be parallel to it, so, and it's technically not in your driveway,
Can't be in front of it.
For the things,
so.
for anything to be grandfathered in, I guess somebody'd have to go around and do an inventory of the existing.
They would have to do an inventory, figure out who has these parking pads, where exactly are they, do they have a recreational vehicle to begin with, and so on and so forth. So if we add that language in, then they would know that they were included.
Or they would know they could pour one.
That's true. They could make, if someone wanted to make a parking pad for that
Pour a
purpose, they
pad.
could.
Right. It's not the pad, it's the recreational vehicle. So
Right, but if they wanted to
it
have,
doesn't matter if they have an existing pad. If there's nothing parked there, they can't just start using it. Because it's not a driveway if this goes in like this.
right, yeah.
They won't be able to use that pad. And as soon as they move their recreational vehicle off of that pad,
Well, he puts his cars there.
they can't put it back on that
No,
pad.
he just puts his cars there. They've got 4 cars. for two
That's a
people.
car. These are cars. These aren't recreational
Yeah,
vehicles.
don't care about the recreational
So
vehicles.
this is what this is to do with.
Yeah, this is what we're talking about.
So you're gonna add language?
A language to include a parking pad, if someone wanted to put a recreational vehicle there.
Okay, well then, I guess we should table this until next meeting,
Okay.
and then we can
And
adopt
if we're
it.
gonna do that, make sure the pad isn't in front of the house, because that'll be the next thing that
Right.
people will try to do.
I could say on a parking pad in the rear or parallel to the home.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you, right?
In the
On
rear
front yard space.
Someday
Parallel.
never
Or parallel to the home.
or parallel to the, okay.
Just put my RVs out there.
All right, item,
It is, we're gonna add parking pad, that can just be in the middle of a backyard somewhere.
Be in the middle of the backyard, could be
So
parallel to the
no,
house.
no drive to it,
Right.
okay,
item number 2
okay.
on unfinished business. Transportation Asset Management Seminar Training, May 14th, 2024, new date.
Yeah, Chairman, that's something that the president gave me to hand out to you guys. That's the new date, it's this one right here.
Okay,
The new date is April 9th at 7 PM. So that's another new date.
This is in
When
Ann
I,
Arbor.
when I made the agenda, it was a different day, so.
What we have here says May 14th, doesn't it?
Right, but they're changing it to April 9th.
Oh,
instructor.
that's like,
So is it not in
It's a
here
week from
anymore?
tonight. I know.
no, that's
We
like
have
2
two
days,
here. You have
or
one
5
on
days.
Yeah,
April
I'm
9th.
confused.
Do they have different, I don't have the other one, I gave them all to you guys.
Yeah, mine says May 14th, no one's handed out.
It says Village of Romeo, but then I'm wondering here.
This one she just took me,
That one's in Ann Arbor.
this one
Yeah,
here.
May 14th.
Yes.
Okay.
April
Then it
9th is in Ann
Yeah,
Arbor.
here, it's
Okay.
here.
So I'm-
What?
May
So-
14th
It's
is the
May
day.
14th.
Okay,
No,
I'm
that's
sorry.
this is just
Okay.
another
It
thing,
is.
Max.
May 14th is still,
Yeah, because we've got another meeting with the council next, I was like, this ain't gonna work.
That's probably why she told me that, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, April 9th, that's next week.
That, yeah.
Okay.
This-
Okay, so that's just informational.
That's the one that you got, that Justin, you're talking about, that you have next week.
The strategic planning, yeah.
Okay,
Okay, everybody clear on this date thing?
May 14th,
yes.
yes.
All right, item number 3, Planning Commission bylaws. Well, we're supposed to reaffirm, renew whatever our bylaws, I believe, once a year. And I don't think we've done that for a couple of years, pretty sure. So, anything from you on that, Karen? You just-
Yeah, I looked through your bylaws, and the one thing that I noticed was not there, which I think should be there, is the ability for the chair to cancel a regular meeting if there are insufficient agenda items or it is known a quorum will not be met. That would, allow, a regular meeting to be canceled for those 2 items. And it's going to be something that you would not know at the previous meeting. So, because technically, I guess the meeting should be canceled ahead of time at a, if you're gonna cancel a meeting, it should be a public decision. But, if, we don't know what's gonna happen the following month, but if there are no upcoming agenda items, or if a quorum isn't gonna be met because people are out, then the meeting could be canceled. And Mark Clark has suggested that we added such language to our bylaws if we wanted to have the ability to do that.
So right now it's suggested if there's no agenda items that come up, we still technically have to come have a meeting.
We would adjourn, say there's no item.
Which in practice has not happened since,
Yeah, it is.
I've canceled meetings before.
Oh, that's what I mean, yeah, we've had no meetings, but technically we're supposed to.
So did Mr. Clark have some perspective, word verbiage for this, or?
He did not, I have some that other communities have used, like, here, it is, the planning commission chair may cancel regular meetings when there are insufficient agenda items or when a quorum will not be present.
So this would be under,
We under section 2.2, where it discusses when the planning commission meets regularly.
Right.
So would there be like a time frame on that, within so many days of the meeting it needs to cancel, or is it, obviously day of would make no sense?
Right, we can add, we could add language to that. Most communities have not specified that, because it might not be till the week of the meeting
make a motion to amend these, as long as I know exactly what we're saying.
Yeah.
So if Cindy could read to us the verbiage that we're gonna add in there.
The planning commission chair may cancel regular meeting when there are insufficient agenda items or when a quorum will not be present.
And that would be added in under, section
2.2
2.2.
section.
After notice of regular as a separate paragraph. I would make a motion that our bylaws be
Okay.
amended as Cindy just read.
But you want to add a time period in there. It can't be
Yeah.
2 hours before the meeting.
Yes, when is the deadline for submission for agenda?
Well, it's normally,
24 hours?
No,
no,
because
it's,
you gotta post it.
It's usually 2 weeks.
I think it's
In here, I think it's 2 weeks.
Typically, no, or
1 week.
I thought it was like 10 days or something like that.
It
So whatever
says
that time
15
frame
days.
is, if,
It says
15
15 days.
yeah.
We don't
So
wanna do 15.
that,
You're not gonna know
obviously,
you're not gonna
that's,
have a quorum until a day or two
Well,
before.
I'm saying if we don't have
That's not
insufficient
That
information,
that doesn't seem practical to me, because things come up that end up on the
they sure
agenda.
do.
They come up days before the meeting.
but they're not supposed to. They're not supposed to be added.
Well, you can add agenda items at the meeting, so I don't think there's any restriction on, it being 4 or 5 days before the meeting.
You can, but then you can't, I mean, I guess you could, but you typically wouldn't ask for a vote or a motion to something that was added day of, if the information was provided prior.
Cindy, when do you typically know that you're not gonna have a quorum?
Several days before.
So
I
if
got
it-
a call from Hale and Hall, maybe 3 days ago.
So if we put 48 hours in as a time frame, Jim, would that seem
That
reasonable?
seems more reasonable to me. I don't know, maybe this is probably remote, but maybe there's a circumstance where we have only 1 or 2 agenda items, and something comes up where those get wiped out, like a day or 2 before somebody withdraws, I don't know, a site plan or something like that.
I mean, I could see 48 for lack of a quorum, but if we don't have information in the office for an agenda item 10 to 15 days before the meeting, there's no reason to rush and add it.
It seems to me that when meetings have been canceled, it's usually, like a week before. Cindy or somebody will call me and say, hey, we don't have anything, do you have anything?
Right.
And then, what do you want to do?
Well, it has to be at least a week for me to be able to get the packets out to you
Right.
guys, so.
Post everything, yeah, so we wanna say a week or 10 days for agenda items and 48 for a quorum?
Could you add that in, Cindy?
Sure, that would be fine.
Can you, and then,
Oh, and,
and then read it, and we could vote on
Yeah.
it?
I think that's,
Well, I'm gonna ask that you don't have to vote on it.
Okay, we could table this till next week.
I'm gonna
and
table it till next week, because I think there are a
Next month.
couple of things we might wanna add.
till
Okay,
next
And
month.
then we will
I'll withdraw my
Um,
motion.
reissue the
yeah,
bylaws.
so we can
or
actually read it, yeah.
Validate them,
Excellent.
whatever. I'm groping for the right language.
So you'd like to table it till next month's
Yeah,
meeting?
yes.
Okay. Till
I
May,
know, I think Lisa Hall had something she
sure.
wanted to add to the bylaws too, so, and that'll be quick as can be. So, okay, so,
I won't be giving a report at every meeting, just so. There's something about a report.
Yeah, we'll need your report.
Yeah. I won't be doing that.
item number 3, new business, rules of order, Ms. LeVar.
This was just, I thought, a, easy little cheat sheet of, some of the principles of Robert's Rules of Order, but to me, I think the most useful thing is the table at the bottom. I know a lot of planning commissions, and even myself, figure out, do we need 2/3 of a vote or a majority vote, for certain things, but I thought this was, useful, and I wanted to share it with you. I also want to let you know, for a few of the communities that I work for have recently asked,
We've never had one since I've been here.
We'd be
For,
interested.
for Roberts, for rules.
Just about, planning commission items in general, you know, there's always those, applications we get, you know, stuff like additional rezonings that have, special stipulations that just, they don't come up very often, so it's nice to just have a refresher and represented, you're prepared with how to look at it and stuff like that.
I not infrequently contact the citizen planner extension at MSU. And usually included in the answers I get, there'll be a comment, you guys should take some classes somewhere, which is kind of funny, but that's true. I mean,
You didn't learn enough from Spartyville?
so, no, yeah, right. Spartanville, that was great. Anyway, so yeah, I don't think it's a bad idea at all, you know. Everybody know what procedure is, so I guess we could, you know, get that going, organize it. Would anybody object to?
No, you're thinking like a joint community one, or just a solo Romeo?
Probably just a solo one, I'd
Okay.
say if there's, a meeting where there's, like I said, not too many agenda items, where it would probably normally be quick, you know, most of the, planning commission workshops that I've done are usually about, you know, half hour, 40 minutes, but you get paperwork and stuff like that, so it's just a nice refresher for everyone to understand procedures and duties depending on what plans you guys get down the road.
Can we have some fun activities?
Yeah, like bobbing for site plans or something?
Yeah, sounds good.
Sounds great.
Yeah, let's, you know,
The agenda doesn't have the last, agenda item. I forgot, I totally missed it.
Motion to adjourn.
Exactly. It's not on there. I'll second.
all right, we have before us a motion to adjourn, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you.